Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and this is another Year of Granny Squares tutorial, and this time I'm going to show you how to make my flower square. It's either a tulip or a daffodil, but it doesn't matter. I call it the tulip square. I made these a long time ago, slightly different, but I've perfected them so that I can work in the corner of the square. I've lost my hook now. It's here somewhere. Ah, there it is. So I'm using just some scraps of yarn, but they're all DK except for this one, which is ice yarn, and it is a 4 weight, but it's not the thickest of 4 weights, so it will work out. Well, I'm hoping. I just want to see really what it looks like. So with my white yarn, I'm going to start by making a chain 4. And you make a slip knot and chain of 4, so that's nice and easy. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the very first one to make a ring. Okay, so ordinarily I use the stack, but for this particular center I want all of these to be the same thickness, and the stack stitch is slightly fatter, so I'm going to chain 2 to get me up to the height of my UK treble crochet. So a UK treble crochet in the US is a double. Now we're going to work in the center of this ring, so you want to make sure you go into this part, so you want to get under the bar of that last stitch there. So we're going under the 2 loops. Okay, so we're going to put a total of where's my notes? I think it was 16 trebles in that. So a treble crochet is a double in the US, and for that we yarn over, go into the center. Now that you've gone into the center, you'll find it easy from now on. We yarn over and we pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that is a treble crochet in the UK or a double in the US. So if you hear me say treble crochet, you'll know if you're working in US terms, that's a double crochet for you. So the 2 chains at the beginning count as our first one. So now we have 2. I'm going to do a 3rd in that same space, and 4. So that's how it's going to look. Now we want a total of 16, including these 2 chains that we've started with. So I'm going to pause the video then, and I'll come back to you once I have my last 16th stitch. Okay, so I've got to put my last one in, and I just wanted to show you that it can get a little bit congested in there. So if you have to, just pull that back to get your last ones in. Okay, so now all we're going to do is slip stitch into the top of our chain. There's my first one and my second, and I'm just going to slip stitch into there. Okay, easy. And I'm going to do a chain, pull it right down, and end off with the white. Pull that right down. So as I've worked over that tail, I can get rid of that one. I'm going to pull it so it's nice and snug through there. It hasn't buckled up at all. Chop that one off, and that'll be less tails to confuse us all. Okay, so now we're going to join the green yarn. I'm just going to pause the video for a second while I put the green on. Okay, so I can't work over this tail. I'm going to have to sew that one in. So I'm just going to start in this one here, and it's easy then for me to spot where to go in at the very end, because sometimes these can be confusing. So I'm going to start there, and it will be obvious to me where my last stitch should go. Okay, so I'm just going to join my green, and I'm going to do that just the way I normally do. Okay, so this, we're going to make V-stitches, and again I won't be using the stack because it'll be too fat, and I want all of my V-stitches to look uniform. and they won't if I use the stack. So if you watch me regularly, you know I use that. So I'm going to chain 3. That doesn't count. 1, 2, 3. Now that counts as a UK treble crochet and a chain 1 space. So I'm going to do a UK treble in that same space. Okay, I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to skip 1 and put a V-stitch in the next one. So that's a treble, a chain, and a treble. I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, and V-stitch in the next one. And that is what we're going to do all the way around. We're going to chain 1, we're going to skip 1, and we're going to do a V. Okay, so looking at our one that we've already made then, we want a total of 8 V's. So when we get round to this side, we will be able to see exactly where to put our last stitches. So I've done 4. I'm going to pause the video then, come back to you when I get back to the start again. Okay, so here I am, and see what I mean? It looks like you've got 1, 2, 3 there. So this one's sticking up, but that's fine. We can now do our chain 1, V in this one here. It's just so that sometimes those little stitches, they do look a little bit. I'm going to try and go that side of it because that, where that has been, that's it. And just go in this side of it and it won't stick up. Where you join it, sometimes it does look a little bit like there might be another stitch there, even though there's not. Okay, so we've gone all the way around and we're just going to slip stitch into our second chain. Remember, that's where we joined. 1, 2, 3 is our chain. So 1 and 2, we're going to slip stitch into that stitch there. So did I do my chain between? I don't think I did. I nearly forgot the chain. Wouldn't have been a disaster, but it's good to be right, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to cinch that right down and cut that off. And unfortunately, there will be some sewing in of ends because there's a few where I can work over them, I work over them, and where I can't, well, then I just don't. But sometimes I have been known to pull up that yarn to the next row and work over it. I do hate sewing in. Okay, so I need to get my next yarn onto my Wool Genie, so I'm just going to pause the video and I'll come back to you then. But if you want to, you can just pull this into shape a little bit more because we want them to stand up rather than lay down and be slanted. But I'm going to come back to you once I've got my Genie loaded. Okay, so we're just going to join in any of our V's. I'm going to choose this one for no reason whatsoever, but I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to join my yarn. Okay, so in this one we're going to make some popcorn stitches. So I'm going to chain 1 and now I'm going to do 5 UK treble crochets in this stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I absolutely love this yarn, so much so that I got it for my shop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I'm going to insert my hook into that first one. I'm going to put the loop, sorry, from our last one on there, and I'm going to pull it through that loop. And I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now in my next V, I'm going to make another popcorn. Now, sometimes if you do that, they can sort of go around the hook like that. Put your finger there. It stops it. It also stops me from getting in on camera. Works fine when I do it anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so just to let you know, I'm using a 4.5, but you can use any yarn and any hook that you want. But even though this is meant to be Aran yarn, I'm still using a 4.5 because it's not really that thick. Okay, so that's my second one. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now I'm going to do another one, so that's 5 in there. Take that out, put it in my first one. If you can't remember which one it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it would be that tight one, wouldn't it? Pop that loop back on and pull it through and chain 4. So I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So you can use any kind of coloured green that you want. It just so happens that I had this scrap yarn that I caked up, so that's what I'm using, but you can use darker green, any colours that you want on this. Okay, I'm going to pause it then. I'm going to carry on doing my popcorns and my 4 chains, and once I get back here to this very last popcorn, I'll come back to you and show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm going to do my very last chain 4. And I'm going to join it to the very back of my first popcorn, which I can't actually get my, there we go, that's it. So I'm going to cut this yarn and end off with this one. Okay, so now we have a row of popcorns, and I need to get the white yarn back, so I'm going to pause the video for a second while I pop my white yarn back on my Wool Genie. Okay, so we've got quite a few ends getting in the way now, so I'm just going to try and tuck them in there so that they're not in the way. So we're just going to go and join our yarn into the top of any of our flowers. So just want to go through the 2 loops. I don't know if I got that in the right place there. Okay, it's hard to see with this yarn. There we go. And I'm going to just join as I normally would and make 1 UK double crochet in that space. That is a single crochet in the US. So if I refer to it as a double crochet, you'll know it's a single in the US. So in this chain 4 space here, I'm going to do another one, and then I'm going to drop down to the row below and do 3 UK trebles over both of these bars across. So it's 1, 2 and 3. And then I'm going to pull it aside and I'm going to do another one in that chain 4 space just before our flower. And then in the top of the flower, I need to put 1 UK double. So we're going around them now, and in the next one here, I'm going to work, oh, I didn't work over the tail. Let's get rid of that, shall we? It's not really too much of a problem. I'm not going to do anything with this. It's already worked over a little bit. That'll do. Okay, so in here, I'm going to do 1 UK double crochet and drop down below to the where the green bar is, below there, and do 3 UK treble crochets. So we're kind of getting rid of that bar of chain from the green round. And then I'm going to pull this across and find my chain across and do 1 more. So that's, we're doing 1 in the flower. Okay, so where's the center of that flower? Here. Got a feeling I'm going to get interrupted in a second, guys. one. It's not really going into that one for some reason. It's this yarn I can't spot, which is my center. So colourful. And I'm going to go into this chain space here and do 1, drop to the row beneath and make 3 UK trebles, and then pull that aside, find my chains here and do 1 UK double crochet, go into the top of my flower, which is easier said than done with this yarn. Doesn't like it. I don't know where the two loops are. Where's my 2 loops? In this one? It's easy to spot with other yarn, just not this one. Oh my goodness. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that one there? Can't really get it in. I don't really just want, oh, there we are. I didn't really just want to go into one. It's because I was using this ice yarn. It changes colour a little too easily. Okay, so I'm doing my 3. And then I want to put my 1 in there. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way around, and this is how it's looking now. So we're hiding that horizontal green bar that's going across, and we've just left with our flower. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video then, and I will catch up with you when I've done this very last segment there. Okay, so now we're all the way back, and I just need to slip stitch into my very first stitch, which is there. I'm trying to get into the 2 loops. Oh, it's not that easy. Okay, so now I'm going to do a chain and pull it low because I don't want it to get confused with the stitch. And now we're going to make this circle into a square. So in the same stitch that I've just been into, I'm going to do my stack stitch, which is a UK double crochet, and then in this vertical bar at this side of the stitch, you can see there are 2, and this one I'm just going to go into there and pull up a loop. I've got 2 on my hook and pull through, so it's 1 double crochet on top of another. In the US, that's a single on top of another, obviously. So now I'm going to put in the same stitch 2 UK treble crochets, so in the same space that I was in. So we have the equivalent of 3 treble crochets. I'm going to skip 2 and make a half treble, which is yarn over into the stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. So now I'm going to do 5 UK double crochets, so that's just a pull through and through 2. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I'm going to do a half treble. So we have 7 stitches, a half treble, 5 doubles and a half treble. I'm going to skip 2 and do a corner. So I'm going to do 3 UK treble crochets. I don't really want that bit of that yarn to come up. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 1 chain and 3 more in the same space. So we've made a normal kind of granny square corner. Okay, skip 2 and we're going to repeat what we just did. Half treble, 5 doubles, half treble, skip 2 and a corner. which is 3 trebles, 1 chain and 3 trebles. Skip 2, half treble and 5 doubles. So we're going to do that all the way along this side. So what you can see, we are making a side, we're making a corner. Okay, so we're going to do that exactly the same. So after we've done our corner, is skip 2, half treble, 5 doubles, half treble, skip 2, corner, skip 2, half treble, 5 doubles, half treble. And once we get there, I will come back to you and show you what to do next. Okay, so I've made it all the way around. I've done my half treble. I've got my 2 stitches. So what I have to do is finish my corner. So we're going to do another 3 in that same space as our corner. You can see it there. So we're going to put 3 more UK treble crochets in that same space. It's a little congested. Okay, so there we go. We've finished our corner. Now, what I did with this one, because it's already fairly square, didn't really need to do any more shaping. I just did a whole row round. I always say row when it's a round and round when it's a row. I did a whole round of UK doubles. So how I finish this off then is into the top of my stack, which is these 2 loops here. I do a UK double crochet, and that puts me in the center of that corner, and I'll just go straight in and do a UK double crochet and another one. And now I'm going to put 1 in every stitch all the way along my side. Just nice and simple. It just gives it a little straightens it off nicely, because some of these stitches obviously are different to others, and it just finishes it off, I think, with a more of a defined edge, because they're all the same, all uniform. So we're just going to put 1 in every stitch. See that one there, you can see it's different, sort of where the half treble was, it is a different stitch. So now I'm at the corner, and there it is. I'm just going to put 3 in the corner. And I've turned my corner, and I'm going to put 1 in every stitch along the side. Nice and simple. So normally speaking, with the exception of a couple of times, when I make one of my Year of Granny squares, I'll have a project for it. But because we've been away, I've not really had the opportunity to kind of do that. So I was just thinking, though, what of all of the squares that I make that will be flower squares, I'll just make a blanket of flower squares. So I'm now back at the corner again. I'm going to put 3 in this corner. Okay, so you've guessed it. I'm going to go all the way along this side, 3 in this corner, all the way along this side. And once I get back to the start, I'll catch up with you and show you how we end off. Okay, so I've made it all the way back. Now all I need to do is finish that corner. I've put 2 in there, do 1 more, and then slip stitch into the first one that I did. Will put me in the corner. I can just do a slip stitch into slip stitch into there, a chain, and cinch it down. That's what I was trying to say, and pull it out. So there we are. It looks very pretty with the ice yarn, doesn't it? So this one is the ice yarn rainbow colours. There's 2. There's a darker one, which I only have to show you in its packet. So it's a bit darker. But the bright one is just called rainbow colours. The darker one's called Rainbow, which wants to fall out now. But this one's rainbow colours. I love this one. It's beautiful. So I loved it so much, I got it for my shop, Hobby Rocks. Incidentally, in the description box below, you'll find a link to my shop and a voucher code. And so there you go. This is the square. I don't have a project, but as I say, I'm going to save them up and do a flowery blanket with all of them. All I've got to do now is sew in the ends, but I'm sure you know already how to do that. You don't really need to see me do that. I hope you like this one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye for now.